everybody, welcome back to Channel Yam. And today we're talking about something that is nearly not talked about enough, and that is the stress before you purchase a home. And I know that everyone most likely is going to be stressed during the whole entire process until you pay off your mortgage. But let's dive deep into what are some ways that we can kind of limit some of the stress before we even apply for a home. So let's start with the income aspect of things. So when you are looking into buying a home, I want you guys to understand that you need to be in control of your budget. So if you're a person who doesn't know how much is in their bank account, buying a home right now may not be the best key for you. However, you can change that very quickly within the next few months. So start putting money up, but not only putting the money up, be intentional about how much you're going to be putting away. So always remember, 3 to 6 months is that sweet spot when you are trying to save money, because the 3 to 6 months is for the expenses that you're going to be paying for if by any chance you lose your job, so you're able to go ahead and dip into that emergency fund. So once you are doing that, I'm telling you right now, that's gonna alleviate some stress when you move into the home. Say something breaks, hey, I have a chunk of savings that I can take out prior to me not having that and then having to go ask another person or a lender to borrow some funds. I will dive deep in very detail in later videos on how to budget. So lenders will typically go based on 30% of your gross. So let's start with an example. So I have my notes here. So if you are a person who gets $60,000 annually, what you want to do is figure out your monthly gross income. Get your pen and paper out. So 60,000 divided by 12 is going to be 5,000. And I already wrote this down, but it's going to be 5,000. Once you get 5,000, you want to take 30% of that. 30% of 5,000 is $1,500. So $1,500 for your monthly gross income. So if you're someone who falls into that range, look at your net before we continue on. Can you even afford to pay anything within that after your net? So if you guys don't know what net income is, it's after your taxes and all the deductions come out, and whatever they deposit or write you to your check, write in a check for you is what you have left over. And a lot of times people won't even have 30% of that amount within one check. It may take you 2 checks to get 30% of what your mortgage company is gonna be giving you. So if that's the case, you might want to consider moving up in your job or finding a higher paying job so you can have flexibility in paying the mortgage. And that's just the mortgage. I already know some of you guys may have car note, car insurance, and we all know both of those are really expensive right now. So just think about that key prior to even applying for a mortgage. Do you even have the funds to be doing that? And then there's going to be a huge lifestyle transition for you once you are into the house. So I tell my clients that I have right now, start pretending like you already have a mortgage. Move as if you already have a house. So when you are in the house, it's not like a shock, like, oh my God, I had to pay all these utilities. I gotta fix all of this, do all of this. Start doing your research right now. If you don't even know how to change a light bulb, figure out how to change a light bulb before you buy a house. Do all of the hard work right now and put it in the research on owning a home. So then when you're in there, you're not like freaking out and you don't know where any of your resources are. Figure out who your local HUD counselor is. I'm one, but there's HUD counselors in every state. They have tons of resources to help you guys with that. The next thing is I want you guys to realize life beyond the mortgage. So when you have a mortgage payment, how are you going to be investing money? Are you owning this home for generational wealth, or you're just tired of paying your landlord and you're just like, I just want to own a home. I feel like it's cheaper. Figure out the reason behind it. I want you guys to know the purpose of why you're doing things and not just doing it because your friend or your HUD counselor said that may be the best option for you, even though we wouldn't say that. But just figure the reason out. Because if you're just doing something as in going into this big purchase because someone else said it, it's probably not going to be the best idea. And if you're doing it for generational wealth, continue to speak to a financial advisor to make sure you're online with your investments and things like that. And definitely get a therapist if when you do buy a house, or even before, if you're feeling like, oh my God, this is really hurting my head. All of this knowledge is just overwhelming. I suggest getting a therapist to help you cope with those things, because you don't want to fall into a trap of you're so stressed you may have a heart attack, high blood pressure, or you even may lose hair, lose weight, gain weight, whatever that may be, because this process is very overwhelming when you are purchasing your first home, even when you're purchasing your second home, but it won't be as difficult as your first one, hopefully. And another thing to help you guys with the managing of stress is look around the areas that you want to live in. Is it a place where, like, I was just talking to one of my best friends. She's also buying a home. I love that everyone is buying a home right now. But when you go to that home and you're starting to get to that process before you even start applying, pick out the neighborhoods. Do you see yourself in that neighborhood? Do you see yourself raising kids if you have kids? If you don't have kids, then ignore that. But can you wake up in that environment and walk around the block, or you're going to be centered in your home and you're going to be afraid? And I also don't want you guys to move to a neighborhood because you think it's the best neighborhood. Look at all the neighborhoods that is in a close radius to your job, because I don't want you guys to get a house that's an hour away. Are you really going to commute an hour? Like, that's taking out of your livelihood when you're spending 2 hours a day trying to drive back and forth to work and things like that. So just be mindful and I don't want you guys to ever feel like, if I buy a house, I'm stuck. Yes, you are going to be locked into that mortgage for 30 years, but there are also options. So once again, you need to get to know your local HUD counselor. So when you want to get out of something, first speak to them. Second, speak to your lender and see what they are able to do for you and things like that. So don't be afraid to raise your hand and ask questions. I really want to make sure you guys get through the buying process as easy as possible. But the number one thing that I always tell everybody, do as much research as you possibly can prior to even applying for the mortgage. Look at your finances. I love talking about budget. It took me a long time to budget. I'm still working on my budget. Yes, it is a struggle, but it's fun when you write everything down and do all that jazz. And once again, we will dive into budget in a later video. And another thing that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about is when you are in a relationship and you're going into a mortgage. I was in a relationship when I bought my first home and we ended up breaking up. So you and your partner definitely want to talk about, if y'all break up, well, who gets the house? Are we gonna split it? Are we gonna sell it? Look at both ends of the picture. Y'all may want to get a professional document signed or notary. I definitely think you should estate plan for what happens just in case things don't work out. And that's something you need to think about before y'all sign on the dotted line. This can be a spouse, a partner, a friend, a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever. If you're going in it with another person other than you, think about that, because that's gonna alleviate some stress down the line if it does happen. Thank God that my ex just signed the deed to me, because Lord knows I would not want to be giving you 50% of what this house is worth. That's just me, you know. Some people are not as lucky as I was. But definitely, guys, consider, for real, put the jokes aside, no matter what, please listen to take the advice of that. Because, Jesus. So, yeah. And definitely don't buy a house. I know I just said it previously, but don't buy a house just because your friend is buying a house. Because your friend is not going to help you pay them bills. I guarantee you that. Some of y'all friends will. And those friends can come over here and pay some of these bills. I'm a great friend. But no. Buy a house because you are going to be paying all of those bills. A lot of people, when they do buy a home, they forget that they can't pick up the phone and call somebody to fix stuff in your house for free. So just be mindful of that. So you either gonna have to have a handyman on speed dial that's not gonna damage your property, because I know someone who purchased a home and knocked the wall down, and that was not good. Pipes flooding and all that fun jazz. You do not want that at all. Make sure it's a professional at all times doing stuff. Like if you're painting the wall, sure, you can have your family and all them paint your walls. That's what I did because I don't care about that. But if I ever want to sell or rent it out, then I'm gonna hire a professional. But if it's just you, of course, you can do it yourself on a lot of these things that have to do with your house. But if it needs to be done by a person who went to school or has a license to do that, please make sure it's not your uncle down the street that your mama know. Make sure a professional does it. So once again, get those resources down packed before you even apply for the home and things like that. But let me know if there's some other things that is hidden that you guys are aware of that you want me to talk about or anything like that. Enjoy the rest of your week, guys, and I'll be back with another video on budgeting and some more other fun stuff for you guys later on. And of course, the Cousin Sundays. I hope you guys liked that video. But I will be back. Thank you for tuning in. I'm your girl once again, Candace with a K, your HUD counselor. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Bye. Thanks for tuning in. Every single thing you do,